Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and I got a review for you today from DC Comics under their Black label. This is Danger Street issue number 2. It is written by Tom King, art and the cover also by Jorge Fornés, colors by Dave Stewart, and letters by Clayton Cowles. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe on this guy's channel. It helps immensely, specifically the likes and the comments. Hit that bell if you're so inclined. I'm always dropping different reviews. I got unboxings, AOKs, all kind of stuff. So Danger Street number 2, and I would like to point out that on the cover it states that this is the Green Team issue. It also, as soon as you flipping it up, book 2, and it says chapter 2, the Green Team. So the book literally starts out exactly where, well, not exactly, but it picks up where the last book, left us with. This book, if you're not familiar with, I highly suggest you go pick up Danger Street number 1. It just started. You have a chance to go get it. But the first issue was phenomenal, and it did leave us with like kind of multiple cliffhangers. But so just like in the first book, we are greeted with Dr. Fate's helmet, and he's the one narrating the story. We catch up with the Dingbats, and in the last issue they lost their friend, Good Looking. He was killed by Starman accidentally after they were trying to bring Darkseid out of Dr. Fate's helmet. They did not bring Darkseid. It ended up being Atlas, and they ended up killing Atlas by accident. That whole scene was kind of a big mess up. So we're here at the funeral, and it's basically the kids saying some nice things about Good Looking, and basically how it was too soon. Like, they don't really know what to say because they didn't think it was going to happen this soon, kind of thing. Basically, like, F the world. They do show that the only people in attendance are Lady Cop, shown here, and then, or right there, and the kids, and just the funeral provider, or he could be a priest, I don't know. The book switches over to our so-called princes, and they are kind of just dealing with what just happened. They're trying to secure a hotel. Of course, this is Warlord, the older man, and then we have a Starman that I'm not familiar with, but it is Starman. But he is bright blue, so that's why Warlord's kind of trying to secure a hotel without too much commotion. They go back to the hotel, and it's a bunch of grieving on Starman's side, basically stating that they're heroes. They're not supposed to kill. And Warlord's like, man, all the different adventures, all the people we've killed and stuff. And he doesn't say it in so many words, but he keeps insinuating, you're getting hung up on this one somatic kind of thing. They jump over to Manhunter's story, and Manhunter right now he's just like this. He sneaks out to a yacht, and there's a whole bunch of like famous people that are supposed to be waiting for the Commodore. We get a little bit more on the Commodore coming up, but as you can see, he just he blows up the yacht with all the famous people on there. In the book, we do learn from Jack Ryder. He's the he's the ogre in the story, but from Jack Ryder, and we kind of heard a little bit about it from the first issue, but we have a secret society that recently has hired Jack Ryder to air out news that they want to air out, and their biggest focus is on the Outsiders. Now, I'm not sure which Outsiders this is. I'm pretty positive this is not the Batman Outsiders, because all these came from that, I think it was the 12 issue specials back in the 80s or whatever. But that's what Manhunter is doing. He's making it look like the Outsiders are doing these terrorist activity type things. And then we got Jack Ryder over here, and he's basically reporting on the terrorist activities that the Outsiders are supposedly doing, and he's just inciting the public and that kind of stuff, making it really look like it is the Outsiders coming from a collected source kind of thing. We catch up with Lady Cop, which is our princess of the story, and she's on her mission trying to track down the specific car that Starman, Warlord, and what's his name, Metamorpho in the beginning of the book. She ends up stopping at this gas station, and this is the longer drawn out because she stops at several gas stations. I think she states that there's like 147 gas stations that she has to check or something like that. But oh, there's 74. I'm sorry, 74. But it's basically a long drawn out conversation with this girl, not really paying attention. She didn't even notice that it's a cop, you know, and it's kind of like basically Lady Cop is looking for a needle in a haystack, but it's not really a haystack kind of thing. We catch over to, and I'm forgetting their names. It might be the Green Team because they're all a bunch of, you know, billionaires that are young, but they are like so far kind of like the bad guys behind the scene. They're the ones kind of right now making it look like the outsiders are the bad guys. They also have like, and I'm covering it right here, but they also have like Metamorpho's arm, and we found out he was missing it in the first issue. This whole scene is all about a conversation about like, you know, what you should do first, you know, when you're being bullied, that kind of thing. First time in jail, of course, you're supposed to like run up to the biggest dude you can and knock them out, you know. It's just, it's one of these, like, they're playing poker and they're basically just, I don't know, chatting. I surmise there is some moral to the story, but at the moment it's not really, you know, oriented to this comic, this specific issue. We jump over to Jack Ryder, and he is the Creeper currently, for those that don't know. That is his, like, his secret identity, but he actually has powers when he changes into the Creeper. But he's basically interrogating this guy. His name is Nat, and he's supposedly like the town's, I think they're in Metropolis, but he's supposed to be the town, no, they're in California, I think. But he's supposed to be like the guy that knows like everything about the underworld, and he knows nothing about the outsiders, and basically that's what Jack Ryder sets him up to do. Okay, you're going to work for me, you're going to go find out as much as you can about the outsiders. They jump back over to the Dingbats, and at this point it's basically them coming up with a mission detail, which is pretty basic, but they are going to avenge Good Looking, and they're going to go after and find the people that did it and kill them. And it's both stated whether it was a person or persons, you know, they're going to kill them, but all three kids, you know, kind of made the pact. We have Lady Cop, and she's basically going through all those different interviews, and most of this is that there's, you know, she doesn't get any information. Most of the time she gets laughed at. At the end of the day, she does go report back to the Dingbats, and she does, I forget who this kid is. Let me see if I can get a name real quick. I don't remember, because it might be Banana, or no, it's Non-Fat. But she goes to Non-Fat, and she's basically telling him that she is on the case, but she doesn't have any leads at the moment. He gets really pissed off, and remember, this is after the pack, so they're pretty much determined they don't need the cops anymore. But he does slam the door in his face and kind of curses her out, like, well, what do we need you for? You know, you're no good. You know, you're not even helping us, kind of thing. In the middle of the night, our prince's Starman stirs from his sleep. He can't sleep. And he basically tells, you know, Warlord to wake up and that he has to fix what he did. And basically he goes back to the whole, like, helmet. And he's thinking that they did the you know, ritual wrong. They said the wrong words. They were supposed to sing it instead of, you know, just saying it. But basically he is, you know, trying to convince, you know, Warlord to go back and get the helmet and retry it again. And it's basically going back to, they're going to try and resurrect Good Looking. They believe that because it's magic and it's Dr. Fate's helmet, that it should have the power to resurrect somebody. Now we cut over to a prince from far, far away, this being Apocalypse, and someone is entering Apocalypse's throne and asking attendance with Apocalypse. He's greeted by Desaad, and Desaad is basically like, nah, you can't talk to him. And his name, I think his name is Isaiah, that's his name. I'm sorry. This guy's really bad with names. But Isaiah has come to Darkseid, and he's basically come with the news that Atlas has been killed. He doesn't tell Darkseid by who, or we just don't get that part of the conversation. But basically, he does tell him that Atlas the Great has fallen and that the sky will fall. This part, like I said, was the dopest part of the book. It's actually one of my, it'll go down as one of my favorite moments in comic book history. But to see this was astounding. But basically, I was kind of thinking that Darkseid was going to go and do his normal Darkseid thing. At that point, he grabs Isaiah and he actually gives him a hug, as you can see right here. And Desaad is kind of, you know, like, what the hell? He's like, by the death of the first gods, you know, he's so taken back that Darkseid had, you know, hugged him, but they are both fathers, and they both, you know, I think that's what the hug is all about. Because I think Isaiah and Darkseid are supposed to be enemies. Darkseid doesn't have too many allies or friends. You know, most of them are on Apocalypse. We jump over to a scene in Houston, which it kind of says Outer Texas, but this guy is wearing a Houston helmet, but it's supposed to be an oil rig thing, which is weird. I'm from Houston, and the oil's, it's out in the ocean. It's not on the ground. But anyways, you know, we see it's another like explosion from the Manhunter. He has, you know, he just goes and destroys the rig. We get another news report from Jack Ryder, and then at the end of that news report, Jack Ryder is getting a call, and of course he was reporting on the Houston oil field bombing that was done by the Outsiders, you know, and he gets a call, and it's supposed to be from, lo and behold, the Commodore. What we heard of in the very beginning of the book, on, you know, the people were waiting to meet the Commodore on the yacht. They had paid so much money, and then they all got blown up. But he's getting a call from the Commodore, and then we get the next page, and the Commodore, lo and behold, is just one of the Green Team. They have, it's a twofold conversation. We hear what, you know, Jack Ryder and basically the Commodore is telling Jack Ryder, but in their room, they have already secured Nat, the guy that Jack Ryder hired, to find out about the Outsiders, and, you know, basically they're about to whack them. And basically the Commodore is just basically telling, you know, Jack Ryder, hey, you're doing a good job there, son. You know, you're doing real good. You know, keep up the good work. You know, all your research on the Outsiders, man, is paying off so much. Jack Ryder has some questions of his own, like he doesn't really understand some things. They are even so bold as they shoot this guy, Nat, while he's on the phone with Jack Ryder, saying, hey, we got some construction going on. You might hear a couple loud bangs, you know. And Jack Ryder is supposed to be this, you know, journalistic detective, you know. I found that kind of odd. But we jump back over, and we're with Lady Cop, and she is back on her interviews, and we finally get what she needed. She met an attendant that does remember, not the car, not Warlord, but he remembers the bright blue dude. I mean, who would forget the bright blue guy, right? And basically she does get some information from that guy that leads her, you know, to her next, or is going to hopefully lead her to her next clue. The very last page, we see some different panels. We see we see Manhunter setting up some more bombs. We see Jack Ryder on the phone. Of course, we see Darkseid, and he's about to bring hell on Earth. You know, some Earthlings killed Warlord. We see the kids. They're kind of, you know, kind of making their plans. We see Nat is dead, and we see the Green Team, you know, is moving the way it's supposed to, and kind of Warlord and the blue guy kind of, you know, it just shows Warlord, but it, you know, it's kind of having like maybe doubts in the mission kind of thing. But basically, Dr. Fate tells us that that's the end of the issue. My thoughts, this book was fantastic. You know, the first issue was great. It was the exact amount of book I wanted. I don't know how to say that. It was great. The art, the everything. But this book, it just solidified it. I mean, this book was just as interesting. Every page turn was another, you know, oh, what's going to happen now? What's going to happen now? I'm loving the way they're flipping through the different characters and setting it up like a fairy tale. The whole Darkseid scene, come on, man, that was so dope. I did not expect that. I thought he was going to go all like berserk and killed, you know, that guy. Nope, it didn't go down like that. Hey, but that's my review. Let me know down below what you are thinking about this book. Did you pass it up? Have people been recommending it to you? Are you reading it? What are you thinking about it? What do you think's about to go down? Let me know down below, people. Come on. All right, that's what I got for you. I got some more reviews coming up. I'm trying to pop out like 2 or 3, something like that. I don't know. But I got some more coming. All right, guys. I love you all. Bye.